Stare into racing's crystal ball. There you see visions of spires and roses, of cupolas and black-eyed Susans, of old Belmont Park in New York, of racing's ultimate prize, the Triple Crown. But in 1993, our crystal ball remains unclear, clouded by injuries to last year's two-year-old champion, Gilded Time, to illness and a disappointing performance by the early Kentucky Derby favorite Rivers Special, to a 29-1 unknown named Bull in the Heather, who upset the field in the Florida Derby, to blizzards of New York that have obscured the East Coast Classic hopefuls. Still, there are some promising signs. Owner Alan Paulson's stable includes Corby, Diazzo, and the champion filly Eliza. And Dixieland Heat remained undefeated after winning the Louisiana Derby. But to clarify this 1993 Triple Crown picture, you must look closer into the crystal ball. And if you believe in the lessons of history, the answers could reveal themselves here at Turfway Park in Florence, Kentucky. And the richest of all the pre-Triple Crown races, the $600,000 Jim Beam Stakes. In the last 3 years, the Beam has produced the winner of 4 Triple Crown races, including last year's Kentucky Derby champion, Lil E.T. Once again, we hope to find some Triple Crown horses here at the Jim Beam. And our Triple Crown Road has brought us here to Kentucky, where it's officially spring, and we're 5 weeks from the start of the Triple Crown Series for 3-year-olds. Today, we've come to Turfway Park in the northern part of the Commonwealth for the 12th running of the Jim Beam Stakes. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. The second Saturday in a row for us, second of 5 straight, to bring you the top 3-year-old races around the country, leading to the May 1st Kentucky Derby. Along with our Jim Beam at Turfway today, later this afternoon at Oaklawn Park in Hot Springs, they run the $150,000 Rebel Stakes that could have an impact on this picture. As we showed you in the open, we're trying to clarify our future ball look at the Triple Crown hopefuls. That's why we came here to Turfway Park. Well, look what we tried to find our race favorite, Prairie Bayou, coming out of the fog Thursday morning back from a workout. I think that pretty well says how cloudy this picture is from 3-year-olds this year. Well, let's take a look at a clearer view of Prairie Bayou. Here winning the Count Fleet Stakes, the first of 2 stakes victories for him at Aqueduct in New York, that has stamped him as the top Triple Crown prospect out of the East so far this year, and as the favorite today in this, the $600,000 Jim Beam. Let's take a look at our race conditions. It is grade 2, 3-year-olds going 1 1/8 miles. All carry 121 pounds. The winner's check, $360,000. Well, Dave Johnson and Charles C. Candy are with us. They'll have a perspective on this Triple Crown picture of 93, and a special guest, international jockey, Hall of Fame candidate Steve Coffin will join us on the telecast as well. Glad you're with us on Jim Beam Day from Turfway Park in Florence, Kentucky. ESPN presents Budweiser Racing Across America, brought to you by Budweiser. Nothing beats the excitement of horse racing, and nothing beats a Bud. By the Daily Racing Form, America's Turf Authority. King Cobra, the king of oversized irons and woods. Oversized confidence, oversized power. Doubletree Hotels, 1-800-222-TREE. It's a smart call. And by Payson Stud, taking the lead in the 90s.
My brother, about to become a father.
So how big can a crib be? Season tickets went on sale today, Mike.
Yeah, well, maybe next year.
You've gone 5 years straight.
Yeah.
Is this about the kid? This kid's getting for free, you know.
He's gonna be a little tight.
Mike, this year's on me.
Only one beer has the taste as genuine as the people who drink it. Budweiser.
Now, the new little guy's going to every game, right?
Bobby, it could be a girl.
A girl?
In just 3 years, California Cup has become one of the biggest days of the year in California racing. In 1992, nearly 85,000 fans saw California Cup statewide, and California Cup winners are running powerful races in 1993. Southern Truce defeated Eclipse Award winner Paseana in the Grade 1 Santa Margarita. Plan now to be part of this special racing day during the Oak Tree meeting at Santa Anita, October 16th. For information on California Cup 4, contact the CTBA at 818-445-7800.
Introducing the newest member of the NBA, Rochelle Tasker.
Come to McDonald's right now and you could win a fantasy NBA contract for a day. Buy an extra value meal and get an NBA fantasy pack free. Or pick one up for only 59 cents with any other purchase. Collect exclusive Upper Deck NBA cards. Win fantasy prizes like cruises with NBA players, trips on American Airlines, the official airline of the NBA, or even an NBA salary for a day.
Does this come with sleeves?
Hurry, because what you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Lively One, among the all-time top money-earning sons of the sire of sires, Halo. Multiple Great Stakes winner of over $1.5 million, including this 5.5-length victory in the Grade 1 Swap Stakes. Lively One at Stone Farm, where we're trying to raise you a good horse.
Vision, power, oversight, distance, oversight, confidence, oversight, aerodynamic design, oversight, King Cobra oversized woods, and now oversized irons.
Welcome back to Florence, Kentucky. Budweiser Racing Across America's coverage of the 12th running of the Jim Beam Stakes. See, the wind has let down a bit. The weatherman had promised us a beautiful sunny day, temperatures near 70. Well, they're about as figured out this weather condition about as much as we have the Triple Crown picture. It's very cloudy to them. It's cloudy, cool here, temperatures in the mid-50s, but can't dampen the enthusiasm for Jim Beam Day. Dave Johnson and Charles C. Kenny now will take a closer look at the 3-year-old picture from a historical perspective as well and introduce the field for our Jim Beam Stakes. Let's join them now.
One major factor on the road to the Triple Crown has been the weather. Charles, I don't think I've ever seen a year where it mattered more.
It's been a fierce winter for the whole country, and it's played havoc with the training schedule of all the 3-year-olds. If it hasn't been heavy rain in California and Florida and the Midwest, it's been wind chill and snow everywhere else.
Take a look at the scene here at Turfway 2 weeks ago from today. The traditional prep for the Jim Beam, the Battaglia, looks more like the Iditarod. 4 of them survived out of this race, including 2 horses that were beaten 68 and 69 lengths. The winner of the Battaglia, Fafalimos, was entered but scratched this morning. But it leaves an interesting field of 9, a combination of some locals and some invaders. Here's Prairie Bayou, who has drawn the rail, is the 7-5 choice. Chris McCarron in from Los Angeles to ride. A wad with Jose Santos starts at 6, a couple of long shots. Proudest Romeo at 15 with Fabio Arguello Jr. and Raglan Road with Mark Guidry. The 5-horse, Miner's Mark, some support, 9-2, Jerry Bailey riding. Wild Gale with Shane Sellers starts at 4, Deputy Sheriff at 12 with Tracy Ebert. Scratch the 8-horse, Fafalimos. And then 2 long shots, Reggie's Timex with Rod Madrigal Jr. and Beyond His Years, 20-1 with Keith Allen.
Well, you know, Dave, there's a standard question that comes up every year at exactly this time, and it goes like this. Have you ever seen anything as wide open as the 3-year-old picture?
Well, it sort of reminds me of 1988, when Winning Colors was out on the West Coast, winning the Santa Anita Derby and then going on to win the Kentucky Derby. Out there now, Eliza, ready to take on the boys next Saturday in the Santa Anita Derby. But it was a horse from New Orleans, Risen Star, who won the Preakness and the Belmont Stakes. And out of New Orleans this year, Dixieland Heat jumped into the Derby picture big time last Saturday. But in terms of sheer numbers, look back to 1974. Everybody wanted to run. There was no clear-cut favorite, just like this year. And 23 started in the run for the Roses. You know, if they didn't have a limit of 20, they'd probably start this year's Derby in tears.
Well, don't make the mistake of thinking that just because there is no clear-cut favorite, that this isn't a good group. Horses aren't made on an assembly line. They're living, breathing products of Mother Nature. All grapes don't make vintage wine. We can't have Secretariat every season. These colts will develop into solid performers.
But today they have to race the same mile and an eighth. Let's take a look at the setting. Here at Turfway, the starting gate will be positioned directly in front of the grandstand. This is a standard 1-mile oval. Interesting that the 2 horses who have shown early speed, Reggie's Timex and Beyond His Year, break from the outside. When they finally hit the top of the stretch, they will have 970 feet to kick in if there are any late closers left at that point.
Well, speed seems to be the key word here. It seems as though if you're not right there or thereabouts when you come to that second turn, it's awful hard to close ground on this track.
Chris?
There's a look at the starting gate being rolled into place here for this 1.125 Jim Beam Stakes coming up. The track listed as fast this afternoon on an overcast day. And joining me now is the 37-year-old private trainer of the Lob Lolly stable of John and Anthony, Tom Bohannon. Tom, you have a full barn of 3-year-olds at Lob Lolly.
Well, we do have a lot of horses with what looks like potential. Some have proven it, some need to go on and go forward, but we're in a pretty good position right now.
Let's take a look at what we call the Lob Lolly Big Sticks now. And a comment about these, we'll see Prairie Bayou, of course, and the Jim Beam coming up. Let's talk about your 2 and the Rebel later today.
Well, Dalhart made his first start in the Southwest and ran a really good race. He came up just a little short maybe, but really ran well. I feel like he got something out of it, and we're hoping for a big race out of him today.
Zimmerman?
Zimmerman has been a colt that has been a little slower developing, but he has improved with each start this year and made a real good run at him and won his last start, and looking for maybe a little sign of where we are with him today.
Let's take a look at some of the other now. Lob Lolly, Big Sticks, Mark Tree at Remington Derby, Dry Bean. Remington Derby would, or possibly Thomason, maybe in the Arkansas. Over Jack Mountain, we saw him second in the rushway. You'll see that race later. But now, Tom, let's talk about the stable star right now. He is the favorite for the Jim Beam. Prairie Bayou, we had the shots of him earlier in the barn here. Then we're going to see a race of him. But I know he's really jumped up into the program here at Lob Lolly.
He has, and he's done everything right since we've started with him. He ran very, very well up north. He probably didn't run against the quality that he's run against today, but he did it the right way, and we'll find out a lot about him today.
Here he is in the Whirlaway. Let's talk about his running style.
He has a very, very good late kick. This race here, he made 2 or 3 runs. Mike rode him and didn't want the speed to get away from him, but he has a good finish, which is all that important when you're going 2 turns a mile and a quarter.
I know John Anthony is watching on, too, and he believes that Prairie Bayou is a awful tough customer. We'll find out today. Tom Bohannon, good luck to you. And as we go to the break, we're going to look back at some Jim Beam history, starting with their first Classic winner in 1990.
The odds-on favorite in the 1990 Jim Beam Stakes, Dogwood Stables' Summer Squall, pulled away in the stretch to post an impressive 2.5-length victory under jockey Pat Day. Summer Squall, trained by Neil Howard, went on that spring to become the Beam's first Classic winner. And he took the second jewel of racing's Triple Crown, the Preakness.
He ruled the ring for over a decade. He filled more arenas than Ali, Foreman, and Sugar Ray combined. And he's been crowned WWF champion 4 times. This April 4th, live on pay-per-view, the immortal Hulk Hogan returns. WrestleMania, live Sunday, April 4th on pay-per-view.
If you're shopping for a new car, then go to the only place you can see the top-selling cars in America all in one place, the giant McCain Automobile Supermarket. Over 1,000 cars and trucks priced from factory invoice. Get a brand new Ford Taurus GL, just $14,493. Drive the new Honda Civic LX 4-door, just $9,984. Or a new 7-passenger Plymouth Voyager, just $11,952. A sleek new old Sierra, one-price special, $13,995. See over 1,000 cars and trucks, and remember, bring your best deal to McCain, and we'll beat it.
3-year-old can stretch into a home run. The DeBartolo Triple. Up first on April 3rd, it's the $300,000 Remington Park Derby, a true Kentucky Derby prep in the heart of horse country. Your second at bat is the 59th running of the Grade 2 Ohio Derby. Third up is the Grade 1 $750,000 Super Derby at Louisiana Downs. All 3 races nationally televised on ESPN. Don't get thrown out of the plate. Don't bet in the DeBartolo Triple.
Vision. Power. Oversight. Distance. Oversight. Confidence. Oversight. Aerodynamic design. Oversight. King Cobra oversized woods, and now oversized irons.
Alain Prost started the season with a triumphant win. Now Ayrton Senna wants victory in his homeland, and newcomer Michael Andretti gets a second chance. The Grand Prix of Brazil, Sunday at midnight Eastern on ESPN. ESPN's auto racing coverage takes the green flag for another season of NASCAR Winston Cup racing where anything can happen. Enjoy the thrills of high-speed racing at the Trans-South Financial 500, Sunday afternoon live on ESPN.
Here come the Beam candidates for 1993 as you look at Raglan Road. Raglan Road is trained by Leon Blusewitz, owned by Paul Fitzpatrick. And coming in for Saddling Nows, we'll take a look coming up later tonight on ESPN. Women's College Basketball Regional Finals. The Midwest Regional, Louisiana Tech against Vanderbilt. That's to be followed by the West Regional Final Championship. Texas Tech against Colorado, 9 p.m. Eastern. Women's College Basketball tonight on ESPN.
Well, do you remember the year Dallas beat Denver 27-10 to win the Super Bowl? That same year, the Yankees defeated the Dodgers in the World Series. Jimmy Carter lived in the White House and affirmed won the Triple Crown.
It's Alydar and Affirmed battling back along the inside. We'll test these two to the wire. Affirmed under a left-hand whip. Alydar on the outside driving. Affirmed and Alydar heads apart. Affirmed's got a nose in front as they come onto the wire.
It was 1978. Jane Fonda and John Voight won Oscars for Coming Home that year. And speaking of coming home, Steve Cawthon, who at age 18 won the Triple Crown with the firm, has come home to Northern Kentucky. First of all, are you going back to England to ride this summer, Steve?
Well, at the moment, no. I haven't got any contract to ride in Europe. And I'm just looking forward to the birth of my first child, Amy, my wife, and our first child.
Here in Northern Kentucky?
That's right.
You're going to headquarter here?
Definitely. This is my home.
So you haven't retired, though, from riding?
No, I haven't retired as such. I'm keeping all my options open. And, you know, if something interesting to me comes up, you know, I'm certainly still fit and ready to ride. But, you know, I'm glad to be back home in my hometown and looking into other things.
Now, what if some 18-year-old kid from Northern California came up to you and said he was going to England to ride? What kind of advice would you give him?
Well, I'd say that he's in for the time of his life. It's racing over there is very different, and I think it took me 3 years really to feel that I fully understood and had adapted to their style of racing. But it's excellent racing. They got a lot of good horses, and you know there's a lot of tradition in England.
Now let's look forward. We're all delighted that you'll be joining us on ABC for coverage of the Triple Crown. You must be looking forward to that.
Very much. Obviously, I've felt like I've missed out for the last 14 years on being closely involved with the Triple Crown races, and although I won't be necessarily riding, it'll be nice to feel like I have some contact with it.
You're not going to be calling any of the races, are you?
No, I think you're safe.
Okay.
I'll be hiding at that time.
But, you know, you better get a little bit of practice, so maybe you want to throw it back to Chris?
Sure. Here we come for the Jim Beam Stakes, and back to you now, Chris.
Not bad, Steve. Work on it a bit for Jim McKay. Sounded good. We got a couple special guests with us. So Jerry Carroll, the man who is Turfway Park, took this track over 6 years ago when they had the old leaning tote board of Latonia, I remember. And then Barry Barish, who is the CEO of Jim Beam Brands, the corporate sponsor of our event today. Jerry, let's talk about your winter racing season and about, looks like a record Jim Beam day.
Record Jim Beam day. I was just notified by Damon Thayer there. We've got a record crowd. And I think that's great because this is what we anticipated. This is what we thought was going to happen. $600,000 purse, Lily T. This community is going crazy. We've got a big day.
Mr. Barish, your company was recognized by the Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth here for a very special honor. Tell us about Jim Beam's history of this Commonwealth.
Well, we are the oldest continuing distillery in the state of Kentucky. We're 198 years old. In 2 years, 1995, we'll be 200 years old, and that'll be the third year of the contract that we have with Jerry and Turfway, and we're very excited about that.
You've extended that contract, and we all know, of course, about raising the purse, now the richest of the Derby prep races.
Yes, $600,000 was Jerry's idea. I concurred, and we got a winner. We really got a good one.
Barry Barish, thanks for your support of horse racing. Jerry, we want to ask you about Gary Wilford, your general manager, your director of racing, recruiting. He'll promise anybody anything, and he'll deliver, though.
I think he will deliver, and he delivered, but they had to come in with extra steel on that barn. But you got a little thing that you're going to show, I think, here, and,
right.
You will see that this man lives up to his word.
Well, he promised that he would dance on the top of Lynn Whiting's barn at Churchill Downs if Lily T, the Beam winner, won the Kentucky Derby. Well, there he is, true to his word, Derby dancing with Gary Wilford. He is true to his word, I'll tell you. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Jerry, great to be here as always. Barry, thank you for your support for horse racing.
And thank you, Chris, and your group ESPN for being here. Great job again.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much. Let's look back at some more great Beam history now. Their first classic winner.
1991 was a record-setting year at the Jim Beam. Hansel, in the colors of Lazy Lane Farm, roared down the stretch to win the Beam in a record 146-3. Ridden by Jerry Bailey, trained by Frankie Brothers, this colt would go on to win the Preakness and the Belmont, clinch the $1 million Triple Crown bonus, and become the Beam's first Eclipse champion.
There was one thing about Bud that we kept hearing over and over.
Now that's fresh beer. Huh? Okay, let's say this is the original Budweiser brewery in St. Louis. There's another one in Texas.
And 2 more in Florida.
New York, California,
New Jersey.
over a dozen of them. So Budweiser doesn't have to truck their beer clean across the country.
So you know it's fresh.
Right.
Is that my beer in New Jersey?
Payson Stud, Lexington, Kentucky, brings royalty to America. Europe's 1992 Horse of the Year, the classic champion, St. Jovite. His 12-length victory in the Irish Derby was the largest winning margin in a European classic race in this century. St. Jovite, a multiple Group 1 winner and earner of over $1.6 million, won the King George and the Queen Elizabeth at Ascot. St. Jovite, royalty in America, joins the Payson Stud Stallion roster, taking the lead in the 90s.
There are some good reasons not to wait any longer to replace your car battery. Come to Walmart.
We'll keep you going without draining your budget.
With top brands like Energizer automotive batteries, the most powerful they make, engineered for longer life in hot climates and more dependable starting in cold, with a 72-month limited warranty. So if you're always on the run, or you need to be,
First, run to Walmart.
always the low price. Always.
Make plans to attend Keeneland's 2-year-old and training sale April 13th and 14th. More than 150 horses will be sold, including 19 2-year-olds from the Francis Ginter Stable Dispersal. Stormbird, 49er, Deputy Minister, Fabiano are just some of the outstanding sires represented at the 2-day sale, held during Keeneland's exciting spring meeting.
You're looking at Shug McGahee as he saddles up Miner's Mark, one of the favorites here in the Jim Beam Stakes today. Shug just coming up from Claiborne Farm in Kentucky there. And again, owned by Ogden Phipps. He'll be one we'll be talking about for you. Well, earlier today, we had the Rushaway Stakes, one of 4 other stakes program, including the Jim Beam on Jim Beam Day here. It was at 1 mile and a 16th. We're going to pick it up near the half mile, and the ones to watch for are Jack Livingston, the 3-horse, in from Due Process Stable, along with Over Jack Mountain and Grand Jewel from Lanes Inn Farm. Here's the call from Dave Johnson.
Yukon Chaz along the inside leads it by a head, but on the outside there goes Jack Livingston, and Jack Livingston takes command. Now here comes Grand Jewel with a mighty move in the middle of the racetrack into the 2nd spot. Yukon Chaz at the rail is 3rd. Overbrook Mountain is on the move, racing in 3rd position, followed between horses by Mountain Blur. At the top of the stretch, Grand Jewel on the outside grabs the lead. Jack Livingston, the favorite, back into the 2nd spot. Over Jack Mountain is racing in 3rd position, 3 lengths farther back. Jim Day up to be 4th. A 16th of a mile to go, and it's Grand Jewel with Jerry Bailey striding out and winning the Rushaway Stakes by 3 lengths. Over Jack Mountain 2nd, the favorite Jack Livingston 3rd.
Grand Jewel winning the Rushaway, the $60,000 stake before the Jim Beam at 1:44 3 for 1 mile and a 16th. Over Jack Mountain was 2nd from the Lob Lolly Stable, and Jack Livingston from Due Process Stable running 3rd there. Well, as we take a closer look now at our Jim Beam race, we wanted to get some expert opinion from the Daily Racing Form, and their man here at Turfway, Cliff Gilliams. Let's join him.
A wise man told me last fall after the Jockey Club at Churchill, Wild Gale comes back into Jim Beam next spring and wins it. I'm a little questioned on it because he's going to be way out of it. He's got to turn in a big late run. Will he have time to get it done? There's another question mark with Awad. This horse is a tremendous turf horse. He's proven that already. Can he acclimate to dirt against this kind of competition? He can certainly carry the weight, and he's another one that comes from way back. He's going to have to be a little closer than he may like. Considering that and considering the fact of pedigree-wise, Miner's Mark is the horse I think is going to be very dangerous today. Of all the races I've seen, witnessed, called, or observed, or read about, I think the most dramatic finish and the greatest finish was a personal ensign in the 1988 Breeders' Cup Distaff at Churchill. This is her first foal. If he's anything like his mother, they're going to have to contend with him today.
Ladies and gentlemen. You're looking at Miner's Mark there. We mentioned that Shug McGahee, the trainer, is there. We just saw a shot of Ogden Phipps walk through, and Charles C. Kennedy is standing by in the paddock now. Let's go to Charles C.
Well, Shug McGahee is the trainer of Miner's Mark. And Shug, you've been very conservative with this colt. It's only his 5th lifetime start. Why?
Well, I had to stop him last year because of his shins, Charles C., and then he got sick when he went to Payson Park. I didn't get him going as quick as I wanted to this summer. He's the kind of horse, he's a little on the feminine side, and he can't take a whole lot yet.
All right, he had 3 allowance races at Gulfstream. We're going to take a quick look at one of them. It was a 1 1/8 miles. He's the only horse in the field to have won going a 1 1/8 miles. And he did this pretty professionally. He's 5 wide and came from off the pace.
Well, I thought he did. You know, when you go wide at Gulfstream, you lose an awful lot of ground. Ran a decent time, and he beat a pretty good field of allowance horses that day. So I thought it was a good race and good enough maybe to go on and take a shot here.
A lot of people feel like the allowance races at Gulfstream, the only difference between them and the stakes was the purse money.
I think you could be right. This was sure a good race here.
All right, good luck, Shug. Miner's Mark. Chris?
All right, we'll be watching for Miner's Mark, and there in the famed Phipps colors is Jerry Bailey, who's up from Florida for the ride today. He's ridden Miner's Mark in every one of his races so far. And as we go to the break, we want to salute our February owner of the month for thoroughbred racing, Louis Russell III. He also trains his horses at the fairgrounds in New Orleans.
We'd been everywhere, seen everything. We were raw.
We're back to the bone. We're back to the bone.
These guys were weird, and we liked it. Later, they took us to the Tower of Bud. Brother, tomorrow we ride again.
Hollywood Park's 1993 Spring-Summer Meet means millions, 35 stakes worth $6 million. Nominations are closing on one of the meet's premier Grade 1 events. April 14th is the deadline for the Californian. $400,000 of American Championship Racing Series excitement. And nominations close May 12th for the $500,000 Hollywood Futurity and $250,000 Hollywood Starlet. Both races will be run next fall in Hollywood Park. For more information, contact Racing Secretary Ewell Wyatt.
Vision, power, oversight, distance, oversight, confidence, oversight, aerodynamic design, oversight, King Cobra oversized boots, and now oversized irons.
Of America's fastest athlete this weekend at a track near you.
This week on Speed Week, ESPN begins its Winston Cup coverage. We'll preview the Trans-South 500 from Darlington Raceway in South Carolina. For the motorsports coverage you deserve, it's Speed Week Sunday afternoon at 12:30 Eastern. From out of the gate to the finish line, ESPN's Thoroughbred Digest sets the pace. It's a weekly recap of the nation's most prestigious races. Thoroughbred Digest, Mondays on ESPN.
Our 3-year-olds are on the track for the 12th running of the Jim Beam. Let's bring you the odds. Prairie Bayou at 3-2 from the big crowd here. Ewad at 8-1. Proudest Romeo, Raglan Road at big prices. Miner's Mark at 5-2. Shug McGahee's colt. Wild Gale at 4. Deputy Sheriff at 5. We scratched the 8. Fafa Limos with a foot problem this morning. Reggie's Time X at 45 and beyond his years at 40-1. Now let's present the field. For the 12th running of the Jim Beam Stakes, $600,000 the purse. And we'll start with the one horse, the Loblolly colors. This is Prairie Bayou, the favorite in the race. Double stakes winner in New York, tough, versatile runner. ranks among Love Lolly's best. Tom Bohannon trains, and the rider, the Hall of Famer Chris McCarron. Happy birthday, Chris. His 38th birthday today. The second horse is Awad, trying to go from the turf to the dirt. Dangerous stretch runner. He just won a turf race impressively this 1 1/8 distance, but that followed a bad trip on the dirt in the Fountain of Youth. The rider, Hall of Famer Jose Santos, an Eclipse champion rider of 1988. He rides in the colors of Rye Hill Farm, Jim and Linda Ryan. The 3-horse, not a Triple Crown eligible horse, is Proudest Romeo. Proudest Romeo stakes place at Oaklawn, still looking for his best running style. And the rider, Fabio Arguello Jr., has won titles here at Turfway and at Churchill Downs. This his first Jim Beam mount. The first of our Keeneland sales horses now is Raglan Road, a $70,000 Keeneland sale purchase, 8.5 length allowance winner in his last start at Laurel on an off track. The rider, a successful rider in Louisiana and Chicago, Mark Guidry, has the assignment this afternoon. Here's the 5-horse, the first foal of the champion, Personal Ensign. Regally bred Miner's Mark, owned by Ogden Phipps, trained by Shug McGahee. He is the one who just won that impressive allowance race you saw at Gulfstream, as Charles and Shug talked about. Jerry Bailey is the rider, won the 1991 Beam here on the double classic winner, Hansel. The 6-horse, a $29,000 Keeneland sale purchase, bred by Calumet Farm, Wild Gale, richest money earner in the field, more than $211,000, making just his second start this year. Been out of the money only once, though, in 9 career starts. The rider, Shane Sellers. The 7-horse is Deputy Sheriff. $50,000 Keeneland sale purchase, only 2 starts this year. Impressive allowance winner in California, but did not like the frozen track here at the Batavia. The rider, Tracy Abear, Turfway Park's leading rider. This his first Beam mount. We scratched the 8, Fafa Limos. Now we'll go to the 9-horse, Reggie's Time X. Not Triple Crown eligible. Figures to set the pace. He's a speed horse. Has been a top runner at Philadelphia Park. And he has the services today of Rodrigo Madrigal Jr., one of the top riders at Philadelphia Park. Rounding out our field, what a Keeneland bargain this one is. $1,700 the sale price. He's earned more than $73,000. This is beyond his years. Local stakes winner here was 3rd in the Batavia. Shows speed in his races. The rider, Keith Allen, won the 1985 Jim Beam on Banner Bob. He celebrates his 28th birthday tomorrow. There it is, the field for the Jim Beam. $360,000 the prize. Now to Charles C. Canty.
Well, Chris, we have an international connection this year in the Jim Beam. We've got the Irish-born Michael Doyle, who's now based in Canada, but he makes a lot of successful forays into the United States. He came armed this time with a very nice colt called Wild Gale. He's as honest and consistent as they come, Mike.
He really is, Charles. We're hoping that he runs well. He had one nice race at Gulfstream, and he stayed like he jumped out and he was kind of close, and it didn't work out exactly like we planned, but he got a nice sort of mile into him, and he's trained really well for this race.
All right, we're going to take a look at one of his best races last year when he won the Brown and Williamson Stakes last November at Churchill Downs, and he came from way back, and there you see him. He's very, very wide, and he gets bumped pretty good here, too.
Pretty good here, and he also was in trouble right after the 3/8 pole. He dropped back to last for a bit. I mean, he really showed some run through the stretch here. I'm hoping he does the same thing today.
He really likes to win this colt, but you've got a kind of a quandary today. This track seems to be favoring speed horses. He likes to come from back. What to do, Mike?
Well, I think you just got to let the horse run his race, and it's just another step, hopefully on the way to getting something else done. I just hope he runs good.
Good. We place a lot of emphasis on pedigree and racing, also with our humans. Mike is the son of renowned Irish horseman Jack Doyle, who I know is watching from his vacation place in Florida. And I just want you to know, Jack, he cleans up real good.
No problem.
Good luck to you, Mike.
Appreciate it.
All right, back to Chris.
All right, thank you, Charles. You see the horses now warming up on the backside. And I guess we should give Cliff Gilliams a little credit, our daily racing form man. He gave us the winner of the Beam last year, Lil E.T. He's the most famous of all the Beam winners. Let's take a look back. Lil E.T. won last year's Jim Beam by a length. The 3rd victory in 3 starts for owner Cal Partee and trainer Lynn Whiting in this race. For Hall of Fame jockey Pat Day, it was his 5th trip to the Beam winner's circle. But Lil E.T. will always be remembered as Turfway Park's first Kentucky Derby winner when he won the Roses last spring at odds of 16-1.
You dreamed about it, but it took McDonald's to make it happen. A one-on-one showdown between you and Michael Jordan. Buy a McDonald's Extra Value Meal and get an NBA Fantasy Pack free. Or pick one up for only 59 cents with any other purchase. Collect exclusive Upper Deck NBA cards. Win fantasy prizes like NBA season tickets or a chance to meet the man himself.
Eyes closed, off the board, nothing but net.
Here we go again. Hurry, because what you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
To reach the winner's circle, you need the right combination of talent and training, preparation and performance, horse and horseman. So you search for the best bloodlines, the perfect environment, and the right people to form a winning team. Choosing the right stallion comes first. Champion Risen Star sires runners with his classic ability. Stakes winner Soldier of Faith and other 3-year-olds from his first crop excel at distances beyond a mile. Come to Walmart and let the winning begin.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Houston from ESPN's Jimmy Houston Outdoors. Every week we show you the beauty of our environment, but let's remember to preserve and protect the only earth that we've got. You can make a world of difference.
We're 6 minutes away from running the richest of all the pre-Triple Crown races, the $600,000 Jim Beam. Here are the odds. Prairie Bayou 7-5, AWOD 9-1. Big prices on Proudest Romeo and Raglan Road. Miners Mark, the third choice, currently at 3-1. Then it's Wild Gates, second choice at 7-2. Deputy Sheriff at 6-1. Fafa Limos was scratched. Big prices on Reggie's Timex and Beyond His Years. Well, we talked about the favorites, Prairie Bayou, along with Miner's Mark. Now let's meet a Bud Long shot for the Jim Beam.
To the Kentucky Derby, and our search for the Budweiser long shot leads us down the highway onto Turfway Road, then past the site of the Jim Beam Stakes and into the Turfway Park barn area, then down a winding road and finally to the Stakes Barn, where we find Raglan Road, today's Budweiser long shot. As a 2-year-old, Raglan Road immediately encountered some top-of-the-line models, finishing second to Zimmerman, Dalhart, and Ferociously in his first 3 starts. But the race that started Raglan Road on the Triple Crown Trail was this 1 1/16 allowance event, which he won by 8 lengths. Trainer Leon Blusewitz thinks he may just have the perfect horse for both now and later.
Well, he has no quirks. He does everything top professional. Really a nice horse. I mean, you can do anything. I mean, you can do anything around this horse. You can explode a bomb and nothing phases him. You know, he's honest. He's a true professional, kind of horse that you can go a long way with.
And not just 1 1/8 today, but maybe all the way to Louisville, Baltimore, or New York. Raglan Road, today's Bud Longshot.
And Raglan Road in the green colors is now at 20-1. We'd love him as the Bud Longshot. The favorite, the 1-horse, Prairie Bayou, is 6-5. There he is.
Hey, you got the Grand Am.
Yeah, I got it with the Pontiac 3-year Smart Drive.
Oh, right, 3-year Smart Drive. What's that?
$199 a month for 36 months, worry-free.
Okay, what exactly does that mean, worry-free?
Well, for 3 years, I get a no-deductible warranty, free 24-hour roadside assistance.
Yeah?
You can get courtesy transportation if I need it.
Whoa, that's a sweet deal.
Yeah.
How'd you pull it off?
Hey, it's not who you know, it's where you go.
For your Grand Am Smart Drive, go to your Greater Pittsburgh Pontiac dealers now.
$199 a month for 36 months.
Worry-free.
When the curtain goes up on the Pittsburgh theater scene, you can count on Ed Blank to give you all the local color. Ed Blank has been covering Pittsburgh theater for over 27 years. And now Pittsburgh's own Ed Blank is part of the colorful Pittsburgh coverage you get only in the Tribune Review.
Ed Blank.
Get all the color of Pittsburgh news and features every day, only in the Tribune Review.
1993 season, 62 days of the best in thoroughbred racing. The quality of racing that last year showcased Preakness winner Pine Bluff and Kentucky Derby winner Little E.T. as they dueled in the stretch of the Arkansas Derby. A record purse distribution of more than $12.4 million with a 24-race stakes schedule brings the best horses to Oaklawn. Join us through April 17th in Hot Springs, Arkansas. At Oaklawn, you can be winning with flying colors.
Vision. Power, oversight, distance, oversight, confidence, oversight, aerodynamic design, oversight, Cane Cobra oversized woods, and now oversized irons.
Here come the Jim Beam 3-year-olds approaching the starting gate at Turfway Park in Florence, Kentucky for this $600,000 9-furlong test on a fast track. A spit of rain here as they get ready to head to the post, and a chilly day here in northern Kentucky, Chelsea.
Well, I know Mike Doyle had hoped to have an off-track for his colt, but this rain isn't enough, and it's too late.
And for, of course, Mike Doyle, he thinks it's a lovely soft day. The Irish love this kind of weather. That's right. You know, a guy who has some experience in getting a horse ready for the Kentucky Derby is David Cross. He is a trainer who won the Kentucky Derby with Sonny's Halo in 1983. And now with Deputy Sheriff, he talked about preparing him for this 93 Derby charge.
It broke his maiden very impressive. So we brought him up to Santa Anita, and of course he was very impressive that day. He beat Union City and a lot of those horses, and he ran very, very good, and he went easy. And then after that, it's just been a comedy of errors after that because the horse got sick, and then there was a lot of days that we missed because of the racetracks in Santa Anita this winter. And then getting back here when we ran in the Battaglia, of course, was just one of those days, and we all had to go through it, but it didn't do him too good.
Deputy Sheriff is one horse who might show us a little more speed today than he has. We've talked about having Reggie's Timex and Beyond His Year be the speed, but I think this colt might be up there too.
They're loading up for the $600,000 Jim Beam. The stakes and the track record, 1 1/8 belongs to one and the same, Hansel. 1:46.3 the time there. Kelsey, who do you like in the Beam?
I love Miner's Mark. I think he's a colt who's ready to come into himself today.
Let's go upstairs now to Dave Johnson.
Well, Chelsea, I like Miner's Mark too, but I like another horse, Awad, who was number 2. Jose Santos in to ride for David Donk. And Awad is a horse who was legged up on the turf last time out, and he makes a big charge from the back of the pack at 10-1. He's a bargain in my book, but they haven't been closing that stoutly from the rear of the playing field today. Here's Reggie's Time with Rod Madrigal, and Beyond His Years is the last horse behind the gate. 6-5 the favorite. Prairie Bayou. Keith Allen, who won the Beam with Banner Bob in 85, is aboard of Beyond His Years, and now they're all set and ready to go. And they're off, and Miner's Mark was off a step slowly. Proudest Romeo in the blue cap takes the lead. From the outside is expected Reggie's Timex and Beyond His Years. Those two go up early. Here comes the Bud Longshot, Raglan Road, charging up into the 3rd spot. Proudest Romeo is 4th at the rail and saving ground. Deputy Sheriff on the outside is 5th. Miner's Mark is 6th. Awad is 7th. Then comes Wild Gale 8th, and the favorite Prairie Bayou is 9th and last, 12.5 lengths from the leader. And the leader is Reggie's Timex on the front end by 1.5 lengths, with Beyond His Years in pursuit from the 2nd spot. 2 back, that's Raglan Road at the rail, saving ground 3rd by 1.75 lengths. Deputy Sheriff up on the outside moves a bit. Miner's Mark in the red cap between horses. Proudest Romeo along the inside is 6th. Then it's 4 back, and Prairie Bayou is 7th on the outside, and the yellow cap beginning to roll. Awad is next, and Wild Gale trails the field. The half in 47-2, and it's the long shot Reggie's Timex at 50-1 in front by 4 lengths. Then Beyond His Years in the 2nd spot. Raglan Road is next. Proudest Romeo between horses. Prairie Bayou advancing steadily on the outside, now gaining ground boldly. Miner's Mark looks for some racing room along the inside rail. There's a 1/4 mile to go, and Prairie Bayou
time in this mile-and-an-eighth race, Charles, as you look at the unofficial winner, Prairie Bayou, but now he can claim something no other 3-year-old has. He has got 3 stakes victories, and I'd have to think maybe most of the top of earnings with this $360,000 check. It's going to put him near the $500,000 mark.
He ran as he's run every race of his career, very professional and tried very hard. He came from awfully far back on the track that's been a little tricky to do on here. As you see, now they turn for home. He's gone from last to first already, and sweeps by long shot here. Proudest Romeo, a horse who has been fairly consistent. He's been on the board in several stakes out in Arkansas, but it's all Prairie Bayou as they come through the stretch. Miner's Mark makes a little run late, but this colt, they said he hadn't been beating too much in New York, but he's done it the right way, and he keeps on doing the same thing here.
In the colors of John and Anthony's Loblolly stable, trained by Tom Bohannon, ridden by the Hall of Famer Chris McCarron. What a birthday present for Chris McCarron. Quickly figuring 10%, $360,000. It's a $36,000 happy 38th birthday for Chris McCarron. Prairie Bayou, unofficial winner of the Beam.
King of beers. Payson Stud, Lexington, Kentucky, brings royalty to America. Europe's 1992 Horse of the Year, the classic champion, St. Jovite. His 12-length victory in the Irish Derby was the largest winning margin in a European classic race in this century. St. Jovite, a multiple Group 1 winner and earner of over $1.6 million, won the King George and the Queen Elizabeth at Ascot. St. Jovite, royalty in America, joins the Payson Stud Stallion roster, taking the lead in the 90s.
All over America, a new idea is taking root. It doesn't make sense to pay the price of other luxury hotels when you can get all the same great things at a DoubleTree and still be everywhere you want to be. DoubleTree Hotels. It's a smart call.
Vision, power, oversight, distance, confidence, oversight, aerodynamic design, oversight, Cane Cobra oversized woods, and now oversized irons.
Make plans to attend Keeneland's 2-year-old in training sale April 13th and 14th. More than 150 horses will be sold, including 19 2-year-olds from the Francis Ginter Stable Dispersal. Stormbird, 49er, Deputy Minister, Fabiano are just some of the outstanding sires represented at the 2-day sale, held during Keeneland's exciting spring meeting.
Take a good look at those silks. They're the yellow and chocolate brown diagonals of John and Anthony's Loblolly stable. They've been winning all over this spring, and they've just won the biggest prize so far before the Kentucky Derby, the $600,000 Jim Beam Stakes. Unofficially, let's take a look at the results. As you see, Prairie Bayou go into the winner's circle at the Jim Beam. The time 1:50.4, not spectacular in a mile and an eighth. Proudest Romeo second, the real long shot, and Miner's Mark, the regally bred son of Personal Ensign, getting in the show spot. Chris McCarron is up. Tom Bohannon is the trainer, and let's go now to Charles C. Kennedy to find out about Miner's Mark's race.
Well, Chris, Jerry Bailey walked up and he says, I hate doing interviews with you. It always means I've lost. But you were third, and it was a pretty good effort. He came from, you know, middle of the pack there. It looked like he ran a little uneven, maybe a little green.
He did. You know, I lost this one, but I haven't lost over. He's a nice colt, and he'll be okay. He's a little behind the 8 ball as far as season goes. He's got a little bit to catch up with there, but I think he'll be okay in the long run.
Jerry, you rode a winning race over this track earlier. Was it that hard to come from off the pace to try to get a measure of Prairie Bayou's race? That must have been a big effort on his part.
It seemed like horses were coming from the middle. Nobody came from last, and speed was okay, but most of them came from the middle, so it was a big race on the winner's part.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot more of the first 3 finishers here. Chris?
All right. right, Chauncey, as you look at Chris McCarron getting ready to officially weigh in here. Prairie Bayou, by the way, is truly a homebred product of John and Anthony's Loblolly stable. He is by Little Missouri, who John had successfully campaigned, won the 1986 Brooklyn Handicap. And Little Missouri was sired by Cox's Ridge, another one of the top Loblolly horses early on that really made John and Anthony one of the top ones. Tom Bohannon, his private trainer, has done an outstanding job with this stable. Remember, he was second with Over Jack Mountain in the Rushaway Stakes, and now wins the big money here in the Beam with Prairie Bayou. And Dave Johnson will tell us and show us how he did it.
And he did it very impressively. Watch the right side of your screen, the yellow cap. He's going to start to pass horses. He passes Miner's Mark and Deputy Sheriff, and then he passes the Bud Longshot and Proudest Romeo, and now he moves to the leader. And Reggie's Timex was strong on the front end, but a confident ride by Chris McCarron, and Prairie Bayou keeps learning, keeps winning, now 3 straight stakes victories, and the horse on the inside, Proudest Romeo, keeps nibbling away at purses. Nothing wrong with getting a paycheck every time. Miner's Mark finishes 3rd, but the story here at the Beam is all Prairie Bayou, named after that little place in Arkansas about as big to hold a creek and a church. We might be hearing a lot more about that little town. Chris?
While they're starting to make the presentations in the winner's circle, we'll be back to join him for those and to make this race official. There's the governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Brereton Jones, next to trainer Tom Bohannon, and there with Chris McCarron. And there's Barry Barish, CEO of Jim Beam Brands. Back with the presentations, and we'll make it official.
Vision, power, oversight, distance, confidence, oversight, aerodynamic design, oversight, King Cobra oversized woods, and now oversized irons.
Secretariat, the most famous thoroughbred racehorse of our times. Now you can call 1-800-452-9100 and be part of this sports legend, as ESPN Home Video presents the life and times of Secretariat, an American racing legend. See the races that made him famous and hear from those closest to him, including owner Penny Tweedy, trainer Lucian Lauren, and jockey Ron Turcotte. Call 1-800-452-9100 today and order Secretariat for just $39.95 from ESPN Home Video.
At the racetrack, everyone's got a different opinion, except when it comes to the daily racing form.
The daily racing form is a handicapper's Bible.
Everything you really need to know about a horse is in the racing form.
I go to trainers' records, jockeys' records.
I like the buyer speed figures, the turf records, their off-track records.
I think all those little things help you in determining who you'd like to play.
The Daily Racing Form, America's turf authority.
I don't think I could begin my daily routine without having a racing form in front of me.
Walk into any Signature Inn and look around. You'll find a lot of reasons to stay. A lot of friendly people, great meeting rooms, free breakfast express, comfortable surroundings, and spacious single rooms with a large well-lighted desk and a comfortable recliner. And most importantly, a good night's sleep at a reasonable rate. Signature Inn, a great way to mix business with pleasure.
Welcome back to Turfway Park, where the Jim Beam, the $600,000 prep for the Triple Crown, is official. And Prairie Bayou, home in 150 and 4 as the favorite, pays $440, $340, and $280. Proudest Romeo, long shot, holding on gamely with Fabio Arguello for the place spot at $15, $20, and $7. And Personal Ensign's first baby, Miner's Mark, gets the show spot, $3.40. A 1-3 exacta paying $58.20. That's the first 3 finishers. Let's see how the entire field moved under the wire after Prairie Bayou won it. And Awad, the horse I like, came from last to be 4th, and Wild Gale was 5th. After that, beyond his years, Raglan Road, the Bud Longshot, was 7th, and then those 2 pace setters faded to 8th and 9th. Reggie's Timex 8th, and 9th was Deputy Sheriff. Chris?
Thank you, Dave. And the Loblolly Stable now it moves to the forefront. Part of the Triple Crown picture. We'll know more later this afternoon in the Rebel Stakes, where they have two others in there, Dalhart and Zimmerman, to run. Remember, Over Jack Mountain was second here in the Rushaway, and then, of course, Perry Bayou winning the big prize. Chelsea?
Well, here's the team who made it possible today. This is Tom Bohannon, of course, who seems to train all of the Kentucky Derby horses in the country. And Chris McCarron, who on his first ride aboard Prairie Bayou made it good. You guys, this horse has a lot of acceleration. Chris?
He does. He surprised me. I asked him to run at the 3/8 pole over there, just shaking the stick at him, and he ran by about 4 or 5 horses within 70 or 100 yards. And I thought about gearing him down at that point because it looked like I was going to hit the front sooner than I wanted to, but I didn't want to slow his momentum down, so I just rode him hard coming off the turn, and he opened up, and he ran very well.
Tom, we're going to watch this from start to finish. You've got a wonderful job here keeping these colts organized. There you are on the rail, and he doesn't seem to be in any hurry at this point.
No, we know the horse has got a good late kick. He's not a speed horse, and Chris had him right where we wanted him. He's run just nice and easy. We weren't ready to make any big runs or felt we had to be close to the lead at any point of the race.
Well, you can't ever tamper with a horse's running style, but this track has been favoring horses closer to the lead. Chris, it took a lot of confidence to sit that far back.
You're absolutely right. Speed's been holding up all day long, and when Tom told me, he said, look, don't let that last race on the form fool you. He doesn't really want to run close to the lead. Just if he tries to show speed with you coming out of there, he said, please take him back and just sit there with confidence. Don't move on until you think you're ready. And he accelerated so well going into the turn over there. And, you know, Tom just said he's the best horse in the race. Ride him with confidence.
And, Tom, you were right. He's coming for his third last now and beginning to make his move. Do you feel good about being able to catch the speed?
Yeah, I did. This horse has got such a good late closing kick. He does it in the morning when I breeze him. He's done it in every race he's run in. And we felt like we could get a position going down the backside, and when time came to run, he'd run, and he did.
This is a big sweeping move here now, and he's got the leader measured, and he's going to go on and win this thing the way you want him to. Let's talk about the time a little bit. Someone said earlier that the time maybe was a little moderate. I think they ran 1 mile and 37 and 2. I think that's a pretty sharp time on this track today.
But to tell you the truth, time doesn't make any difference to me. It really doesn't. It's the way a horse runs and who he beats. And this is the best race or the best field that he has handled ever, and proved that he's a horse of quality.
Was he waiting on his horse there a little bit, Chris?
He did. He felt like he slowed down just a touch after he opened up a couple lanes, but he persevered when he had to, and he got the job done.
All right, well done, both of you. Congratulations, and we'll go back to Chris Lincoln.
Yeah, it's been a big day for Arkansas. We need to say a few words about the second-place horse. Proudest Romeo went off at a big price and performed very well, owned by Dr. K.J. Arman, an Arkansas heart surgeon. Really a bit overlooked in this race, and he really performed very well. Kevin Osborne, a young trainer, handling him. An outstanding job by him. He finished third in an allowance race at Oaklawn Park before shipping up here to test this Jim Beam Stakes. So certainly Proudest Romeo deserves a closer look, too. Dave Johnson?
One quick prediction from the windy roof at Turfway Park, and that is that the grade 2 status of the Jim Beam probably will be changed. It should be changed. When you get this kind of quality horses year after year and a race that means so much, it deserves grade 1 status. Also hope you had your VCRs running, because there's nothing more fun than to watch all the prep races and pick a horse for yourself to follow through the Triple Crown. Also, watch to see which jockeys choose which horses, because the real good ones have their choice. Chris?
People here at Turfway Park say that the real running for the Triple Crown starts here. They've proved it because they've had 4 winners of the last 9 Triple Crown race winners. We'll see if Prairie Bayou continues the tradition. Chelsea?
One more thing to watch for, as Dave was pointing out. You want to really be watching right now for horses who are closing, who are coming on at the finish. We're talking about 1.25 miles very soon now, and I think we saw 3 horses here today with a good closing kick, and we'll see more of them later. Chris?
Well, let's hope we clarify things a bit with our foggy crystal ball, the Triple Crown picture, as Prairie Bayou wins the Jim Beam. And we will be trying to find a clearer picture in Oklahoma next week. The Remington Derby, $300,000, their richest event for the 3-year-olds, bringing in some good horses there. We're looking forward to that. Next on ESPN, stay tuned for Sports Center. NCAA regional basketball highlights and news. And listen to this, Bobby Cremins is reconsidering. The Georgia Tech coach who said he was going to South Carolina having some second thoughts. Next on Sports Center. Our coverage of the Jim Beam from Turfway Park in Florence, Kentucky has been brought to you by Budweiser. Nothing beats the excitement of horse racing, and nothing beats a Bud. By Keeneland, source of the classic horse. King Cobra, the king of oversized irons and woods. Oversized confidence, oversized power. And by the Thoroughbred Racing Associations, assuring the highest racing standards. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 700 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. Charts and statistics courtesy of the Daily Racing Form, America's Turf Authority. This has been an ESPN Sports presentation in association with Winter Communications. Prairie Bayou gives Chris McCarron a happy birthday gift with a victory in the Jim Beam and a $360,000 first place check for Lob Lolly Stable.